Have you ever experienced a moment when life seems to pause and everything around you feels both familiar and suddenly foreign? Losing a partner is one of those moments that shakes your entire world, leaving you with a whirlwind of emotions and decisions that you never imagined having to make. When you lose the person you've shared your life with, every decision, from the practical to the deeply personal, carries a weight that feels almost too heavy to bear. Today, I want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you about something many people never expect to face, yet so many do. I want to share some insights on the costly mistakes that can arise in the wake of losing your spouse. Mistakes that might seem like they're meant to help you move forward, but can actually steer you into turbulent waters if you're not careful. In times of deep loss, our minds are clouded by grief, and sometimes the pressure to get back on your feet comes not only from within, but from the people around us. Friends, family, and even well-meaning advisors might urge you to make changes quickly, to fill the void left behind, or to reorganize your life in a way that promises a return to normalcy. And while their intentions are rooted in love and care, these decisions can sometimes lead us down a path that isn't truly our own, a path paved with expensive and regretful mistakes. It's crucial, especially during these vulnerable moments, to take the time to grieve, to understand what you really need, and to avoid giving in to pressures that can compromise both your emotional and financial well-being. One of the first pitfalls I've seen many encounter is the rush to make significant financial decisions without giving yourself the proper time to grieve. When you lose your spouse, there's an overwhelming urge to address everything immediately. The house, the investments, the savings accounts that you once managed together. In your haste to secure your future, you might be tempted to sell the family home, liquidate joint assets, or agree to financial settlements that promise a quick solution. The truth is, these decisions, made in the throes of grief, can sometimes strip away the legacy of memories and stability that your spouse helped build over the years. It's as if in trying to find a way to move on, you might inadvertently let go of something far more precious. I've heard stories of people who later wished they had taken just a little more time to consider all their options, to consult with trusted professionals, and to process their feelings before handing over such an important piece of their lives. Equally challenging is the moment when you find yourself surrounded by well-meaning voices offering advice and urging you to make changes that might not truly be yours. In the aftermath of a loss, it's not uncommon to feel overwhelmed by the opinions and expectations of others. Perhaps a family member insists that you should sell the home because it's too much to maintain on your own. Or a friend suggests that you invest in something new to honor your spouse's memory by starting a fresh chapter. While these suggestions come from a place of care, they can sometimes lead you to make decisions that feel rushed or misaligned with your own inner voice. It's important to remember that while it's natural to seek comfort and guidance from those around you, the choices that truly affect your life should resonate with your own heart. Trusting your instincts, even when they differ from what others believe is best, can be one of the most empowering actions you take in your journey of healing. Another mistake that can creep in during such a vulnerable time is the temptation to jump into a new relationship too soon. The loneliness that follows the loss of a life partner is real, and the desire for companionship is powerful. It's natural to crave the comfort of another's presence, to want to fill the silence that has grown in the days and nights after such a significant loss. However, rushing into a new relationship without giving yourself ample time to process your grief and understand your own needs can sometimes lead to more heartache than healing. There's a delicate balance between seeking support and losing yourself in the need to replace what you've lost. Often, the quick fix of companionship might offer a temporary distraction, but it may also introduce complexities that could affect not only your emotional well-being, but your financial stability as well. It's crucial to let yourself grieve fully and to approach new relationships only when you feel genuinely ready, rather than as a way to fill a void created by sudden loss. I know this conversation is not easy, and these topics are deeply personal. Each step in the grieving process comes with its own challenges, and the decisions you face are as unique as the bond you shared with your spouse. The key here is to give yourself permission to move slowly, to acknowledge that there is no set timeline for healing, and that taking a measured, thoughtful approach is not only okay, it's necessary. Sometimes, the most important decision you can make is to say no to the rush of external pressures, to allow your heart the space it needs to mend, and to ensure that when you do make decisions, they're guided by your true self, rather than the expectations of others. As we sit together in this moment, I want you to feel that you're not alone. Many have walked this path, and though the journey through grief can be incredibly lonely, there is strength in taking the time to honor your own pace. The choices you make now are stepping stones to a future where you can find peace and perhaps even rediscover joy, not because you rushed into it, but because you allowed yourself the space to heal properly. In our conversation today, I've touched on the cost of making hasty financial decisions, the danger of yielding to the pressures of others, and the pitfalls of entering new relationships before you're ready. Each of these mistakes, while they may seem like practical solutions in a moment of overwhelming sadness, can lead to regret later on if they're not handled with care. Remember, the road to healing is not about forcing yourself to move on quickly, but rather about embracing each moment with honesty and patience. Your life, and the legacy you shared with your spouse, deserves to be handled with the utmost care. It's in these moments of quiet reflection and deliberate decision-making that you truly honor the love and memories you hold dear. Let's take a deep breath and allow these thoughts to settle in, knowing that every decision, when made with time and care, builds a future that is not defined solely by loss, but by the enduring strength of the human spirit. As you continue along this journey of rediscovering your own path, another crucial area to consider is the importance of revisiting your legal and financial paperwork. You may find that the documents you once carefully prepared together with your spouse have taken on a life of their own. They're more than just words on paper. They represent shared decisions, hopes, and plans that were built over many years. Yet, when your circumstances change so profoundly, holding on to these documents without a second look can create complications that echo long into the future. It's completely natural to feel hesitant about changing something that holds such cherished memories. But sometimes leaving things as they are may only lead to misunderstandings or even conflicts among those you care about most. I've heard stories of individuals who, overwhelmed by grief, clung to joint accounts and outdated wills, only to face legal tangles that made an already difficult time even more challenging. Taking the time to update these documents to ensure that everything reflects the person you are today is a vital step in honoring both your past and your future. It might feel like a daunting task, sifting through legal papers and financial records while your heart is still mending. But consider this. By updating your estate plan, revising beneficiary designations, and adjusting power of attorney arrangements, you're not erasing your shared history. Instead, you're taking control of your own destiny. This process is an act of self-care, a way to protect your legacy while making sure that your wishes are clearly understood by those who will eventually carry them out. Enlisting the help of trusted professionals, a good attorney or financial advisor who understands the unique challenges of navigating life after loss, can provide the guidance and reassurance you need. They can help break down the process into manageable steps, ensuring that you're not forced into hasty decisions that might later lead to regret. In the midst of sorrow, it's easy to let practical matters fall by the wayside. Yet making these updates is not about forgetting your partner or diminishing the bond you shared. It's about paving a smoother road ahead for yourself and your loved ones. When you take the time to sort out these details, you create a foundation that honors both the memories of the past and the promise of tomorrow. It might mean sitting down with a cup of tea on a quiet afternoon and reviewing papers you never thought you'd need to revisit. It could involve difficult conversations with family members, explaining your decisions with care and compassion. But through it all, you are investing in your own security and peace of mind. Alongside these practical steps, another vital aspect that deserves your attention is the way you care for yourself during this profound transition. The loss of a spouse can leave an emotional void that sometimes feels too vast to fill. In the wake of such a loss, many find themselves so absorbed in grief that they forget to care for their own well-being. It's not uncommon to hear of friends or even strangers who, caught in the grip of sorrow, neglect everything from their health to the simple joys of everyday life. Skipping doctor's appointments, avoiding social gatherings, or not taking time for a favorite hobby may seem like minor details, but over time, they add up and can deeply affect your quality of life. Self-care in times like these is not an indulgence, it's a necessity. It's about finding ways to nurture your body and soul, even when it feels like the world has lost some of its color. Imagine starting your day with a quiet walk in the fresh morning air, or setting aside a few moments to read a passage from a book that once brought you comfort. It could be as simple as allowing yourself to sit in silence and acknowledge your feelings, rather than pushing them aside in the rush to move on. These moments, however small, are powerful reminders that you deserve care and kindness from yourself too. Sometimes, society tells us that we should be strong and that we must simply get on with it. But true strength lies in recognizing when you need support and giving yourself permission to seek it out. Whether it's talking to a counselor who specializes in grief, joining a support group where you can share your experiences, or simply leaning on a trusted friend, reaching out can make a significant difference. Each conversation, each shared tear or smile, builds a bridge back to a life where joy and resilience coexist with loss. By investing time in your own emotional healing, you're ensuring that the decisions you make moving forward, whether about finances, relationships, or your daily routines, are guided by clarity and compassion. It's also worth acknowledging that taking care of yourself goes hand in hand with making thoughtful decisions about your future. When you're in a place where your emotional and physical health is being nurtured, it becomes much easier to assess other important areas of your life with a clear mind. This self-care isn't a distraction from the pain. Rather, it's a necessary step toward regaining your strength and independence. When you treat yourself with the same care you once reserved for your loved one, you honor the bond you share by ensuring that your life continues in a way that is rich and fulfilling. In these moments of self-reflection, it's important to remember that healing is not a linear process. There will be days when the weight of grief seems insurmountable and days when the light feels just a little brighter. Embracing this ebb and flow is part of the journey, and each step, no matter how small, is a victory in itself. Whether you're updating legal documents or simply taking a moment to breathe and appreciate a kind gesture, you're actively participating in your own recovery. As you navigate this intricate balance of practical responsibilities and emotional healing, know that every decision you make is a testament to your strength and resilience. By updating your paperwork and prioritizing your well-being, you are not only safeguarding your future, but also creating space for new beginnings. It's a journey that honors the past while opening the door to a future where you can once again feel whole and secure. As we reflect on our journey together today, I hope you begin to feel a sense of clarity and empowerment emerging from these honest conversations about navigating loss and rebuilding your life. It isn't easy to confront the reality that grief brings a multitude of decisions, each with its own emotional and financial weight. But remember, The choices you make in this time of vulnerability are yours alone, and taking the time to truly listen to your inner voice is a sign of strength, not weakness. Every step you take now, whether it's revisiting long-held documents, resisting the pressure of external voices, or giving yourself the grace to heal before embarking on new relationships, is a vital part of creating a future that honors the memory of your spouse while nurturing your own well-being. It's about embracing the fact that while the pain of loss can feel all-consuming, it can also serve as a catalyst for a deeper understanding of who you are and what you truly need moving forward. Instead of rushing into decisions that may later lead to regret, you're learning to value your own pace, taking the time to truly grieve, reflect, and make choices that resonate with your heart. In moments when the weight of these decisions seems too much, it can help to step back and remind yourself that you are not defined solely by the loss you've experienced. You are a person with a rich history, a tapestry woven from years of love, experiences, and memories. This journey is not about erasing the past, but rather about integrating the beautiful moments you shared with your spouse into a life that still holds promise for happiness and fulfillment. Each decision you face is an opportunity to honor that past, while also taking careful, deliberate steps toward a future that feels safe, secure, and true to who you are. It might be comforting to think of this time as a slow, deliberate unfolding, like watching the first light of dawn slowly spread across the horizon. There is beauty in the gradual process of healing, in giving yourself permission to pause and truly consider the impact of each decision. When you find yourself facing a crossroads, whether it's related to finances, legal matters, or personal relationships, know that it's perfectly acceptable to take a breath, ask questions, and seek the counsel of trusted professionals. These are not signs of hesitation, but rather clear indicators that you're making a thoughtful choice that prioritizes your long-term well-being over short-term comfort. There may be days when the loneliness feels overwhelming and the future seems uncertain. In those moments, try to remember that every day is an opportunity to rebuild your strength piece by piece. Engage in simple acts of self-care that remind you of your worth. Perhaps it's a quiet walk in the park, a phone call with a dear friend, or simply allowing yourself the space to reflect without judgment. These small acts, repeated over time, create a foundation of resilience that will support you as you navigate the complexities of life without your lifelong partner. Your journey of healing is uniquely your own, and it's important to honor it by doing what feels right for you, even if it means moving slowly and steadily forward. I also want to acknowledge the emotional courage it takes to face these challenges. It's natural to feel uncertain, to question whether you're making the right choices, or whether you're truly ready to step into a new chapter of your life. Yet it's precisely in those moments of doubt that you have the chance to rediscover the core of who you are. Trusting yourself and trusting that with time, clarity will come is a powerful act of self-respect. Your experiences, both joyful and painful, have equipped you with wisdom and resilience that are invaluable assets as you move forward. In embracing these moments of introspection, you may find that the very mistakes we've discussed become gentle guides, reminders of what to avoid, yes, but also of what to cherish. They teach you the importance of pausing, of taking care in every decision, and of never feeling pressured to rush through life's transitions. They remind you that it's okay to say no when something doesn't feel right, and that your future is shaped by the thoughtful choices you make today. As we close this conversation, I want to leave you with a simple yet profound thought. Your life, with all its chapters, remains a work in progress. The love you shared with your spouse is an integral part of that story, and it will always be a cherished chapter. Yet the pages that lie ahead are blank and waiting for you to write new experiences, new joys, and new triumphs. Each careful decision you make now is like a stroke of the pen,